Hello, all you beautiful drywallers out there in drywall land. I'm your host, once again, Nick Harmon. I'm kind of excited for this episode. Why, you might ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. You may or may not know, but at the end of each Drywall podcast, I ask each interviewee for a pearl of wisdom, something they could bestow on their fellow tradesmen and women. I then compile these beautiful pearls into 1 hour-long episode. The last Pearl of Wisdom dropped in June 2023 on episode 98 and featured a former legend, the late, great Cameron Brown of It's Ya Man Cam. Cameron Brown, episode 92. Pearl of wisdom that you can offer, and then I have one more question.
You know, I was thinking about this before the show, and then you texted me and told me to hop on early, and that kind of went out the window.
Good. I want it to be fresh.
My last one was with persistence will come success.
Okay,
and that's
right.
true. I guess we could kind of like branch off of that one. And consistency is key. I feel like let's go with that. And you asked me, about growing your social media page. Like you have to stay consistent. If you take that little hiatus, that break away from the page, like people, the algorithm and people both see that, and it's not good. You got to stay consistent. You've got to stay relevant, and just keep on grinding.
We love and miss you, Cam. Likewise, our very first Pearl of Wisdom aired all the way back in May of 2023, episode 50. And it features legends like, but not limited to, the great Aaron and Elliot St. James of Columbia Tools. What would it be? What would you put on a billboard if you could say something? We could do both you guys.
For me, it would be never think you're the best at what you're doing, because that gets you in a hole. You always want to be innovating, trying to be better at what you do to move forward. Like if you kind of pause yourself if you think you're the best at what you do, and you kind of let people pass you. So you want to always be thinking about how to be better at what you do.
Also, be on the lookout for a second episode with Aaron and Elliot coming in the month of April. It's been too long, and I want to find out what Columbia has been up to. Hold on to your seats, because we have a new sponsor for the month of April, and it happens to be Columbia Tools. Columbia steps up to the plate with their third sponsorship of the Drywall Podcast since we started, and we appreciate them for that. It's because of sponsors like Columbia Tools that I get to bring you updated and badass new episodes every single week. Drywallers, listen up. If you want the highest quality taping tools made right here in North America, you need to check out Columbia Tools. Since 1979, they've been building tools that last, designed to make taping easy. From automatic tapers to their brand new premium hand tools, including joint knives, trowels, hawks, and mud pans, Columbia is always innovative and pushing the trade forward. And now they're hitting the road. Columbia takes a little road trip, traveling across select states and provinces in their brand new Columbia Tools RV. I've seen it. It's pretty badass. Bringing tools, demos, and giveaways straight to the pros. They'll also be stopping by a little show called the AWCI Build 25 Trade Show in Charlotte, North Carolina on April 2nd and 3rd. I'll be there. Looking forward to seeing them. Swing by booth 400 to see and say hi and check out the new tools. You can follow Columbia Tools on all your favorite platforms to see where they're headed next and check out their tools in action. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the third installment of Pearls of Wisdom on this, the 126th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Episode 100, Paps Duggins. Okay. And then a question that I ask everybody post Paps original episode is a Pearl of Wisdom. And we've had 2 Pearls of Wisdom collective episodes on the 50th episode of the Drywall Podcast, and then on like that 98th, we had a Pearl of Wisdom, collective of all the pearls of wisdoms that the drywall applicators have said throughout the episodes. What is your pearl of wisdom? If you could bestow on the drywall community something maybe that you could put on a billboard that would help instill inspiration in your fellow tradesmen, what would it be?
That's a good question, man. Say, pass along the trade, pass it down. Don't gatekeep the trade. It only survives if we pass it down to the youth. The youth don't get involved, and drywall dies out.
Yeah,
pass it along, share that knowledge. Absolutely,
share the knowledge.
Teach one.
Episode 103, Hayden DeRocher. What a pleasurable interview, Hayden. And then, of course, your pearl of wisdom that you can bestow in the drywall community. What do you got?
Oh boy. I guess 2.
Okay.
Learn to say no. And
what does that mean? What does that mean? Learn to say no.
When running a business, maintaining client relationships and satisfying a client is very important. But there's a point where getting walked over, like being taken advantage of, and you need to know when to say no and what's out of the scope and what's an additional charge. And you have to be able to have those conversations with clients. And, they're uncomfortable. It's a lot easier to say, yep, no problem, we'll do it. And then you end up eating the cost and you're out of pocket. And,
more specifically GCs, because they're getting you work. So they will, what I call, beat you up. They'll beat you up as much as they can. You got to be like, I'm charging you for this, dude. I'm not driving all the way back out there to do a 3-hour patch for free.
Definitely.
I appreciate you getting me jobs, but I have to get paid. Like that sort of thing, right?
Absolutely. So then there's that, and good enough is not enough.
Okay. What does that mean?
So that's just something my mom always had on the fridge growing up. And I think it's attitude. So just being lazy, not wanting to do that extra work, go that extra mile. So like if you say, oh, that's fine, it's good enough, it's probably not enough.
Yeah.
Keep going. Do better. Push yourself. It's in you.
Yeah.
Be patient. There's no rush. There's no hurry. Do something to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Yeah. Be passionate about it. Have a little bit of passion and pride.
Absolutely.
Makes the day. I feel like it makes the day a little better.
Absolutely.
When I'm concentrated on just the project.
Yep.
Not how much money I'm gonna make. My time stamp, that is a fine line. That is a fine line. Episode 117, Monica Schaefer and Judd Togerson. One thing I ask everybody that comes on the podcast is a pearl of wisdom for the drywall community. In this instance, it would probably just be for humanity in general, or the construction industry. You had some nice pearls, Monica, talking about how work together to so that everybody wins type of thing. But we'll go first Judd and then Monica. Pearl of wisdom, something you put on a billboard if you have one shot to say.
The first thing that comes to mind was her example, which what stands out prominently is that communication line. Whereas if a carpenter or a construction worker can anticipate the needs of a painter, then the timing of the overall build will be better. The frustration of all the industries would be less, because now we're like, while the carpenter's gone, we're talking shit behind their back going, if he had just done this, we would have saved hours of time, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
So sort of an appreciation for. I think there's a lot of respect for everyone's industry, but I think there's a wall. Like our date for carpentry, or we're done framing here. The painters come in, we're done, and there's like a one of my biggest pet peeves is the proud screws or proud nails on a trim board or something like that. So they don't do any nail setting, that kind of thing. And not that I would expect them to. It's not a job title, but if they had that thought process of while they're on it, if they could just
they're like, just paint it. I'm like, I can't just paint it because paint doesn't stick to metal. And as soon as the paint wears off, then the water's going to get through the nail, and then the wood is going to rot, and then in 5 years they're going to call us back to paint it again. It's not. But if we sit here and set every single freaking nail in, people are looking at us after 4 hours going, what are you doing over there? And it's like,
let's go, just paint it.
Just paint it.
Just paint this.
Then Monica, what do you got?
I stole your thunder, huh?
No way. There's plenty.
It's fine, I guess. I don't know. I guess pearls of wisdom. Gosh, if I can do it, you can do it.
I also think that there's.
You gonna steal it again while I'm talking?
No, we're riffing, right? So I think there's what's not obvious to a consumer is the level of craftsman that painters bring, what craftsmanship that a painter can bring, the final touches. Mm-hmm. If you let the painter be very meticulous, then you're going to get what you want. Mm-hmm. If you're just expecting the painter to come in and just put paint on the wall and be done in 4 hours, then we're not your crew. You know what I mean? Like if there was
I think that's across the board. Like, fast and cheap, good and slow. Like there's that saying, you can't have all three. You can't have it like fast and expensive and fast, like all that. But yes, absolutely. Episode 120, Sheila Cross, Mud Skip.
Keep it as simple as my mantra is always be the light. Every day, everything you think about, everything you do. I believe that there's two emotions, love and hate. There's nothing in between if you really think about it. And if you are speaking to somebody, talking to a client, having a moment, where's it coming from? Is it coming from love or is it coming from hate? If we all just take a minute and think about what we do, and I'm as guilty as anybody. I can go 0 to 100 in half a second. Ask my kids. Ask Paul. He'll tell you. He's on the other side of the office and he can hear me just blow my top. I mean, that's not being the light. Like, I don't like that. I don't want to be that person. So always be the light. Always think about everything you do and say, and make sure everything is from love, because it will change everything. People today are so disconnected and they just want to feel love and sense of community. And it's not that difficult to do. You can do it going to the grocery store. I remember when I was in a real difficult space and I just needed to get out and interact. And I thought, what am I going to do? I would literally go to the grocery store and walk around with a smile on my face and do good deeds for people just to get that interaction and reaction. So I would feel good about my current situation. And it's the little things. But the other thing is I think we all need to remember the people that are suffering. Right now, what's going on in LA is excruciatingly difficult to watch on TV. It's saddening, and we see it everywhere. We saw it in Lahaina, Hawaii. We see it everywhere. I mean, all over the world. But every time you think your day is so bad, just remember somebody else has it a lot worse than you do, no matter what your circumstances.
I love it. Sheila Cross, Mud Skip. Look for it in a retailer near you soon. Episode 118, Brad Hanna. Finally got a solid, adequate interview with Brad Hanna. Could we say legend? Was a legend in the industry.
Yeah, legends never die, right?
Legends never die. Pearl of wisdom for the drywall community. Something you could put on a billboard. What would you say?
Like about social or just drywall in general?
Drywall or beyond society?
I would say drywall in general. Say
Okay.
yes until you can afford to say no.
Okay.
For
I like
sure.
that. I like that. Say yes until you can afford to say no.
And when it comes to social media, it's really simple, you know. Like people are either going to like you or they're not. You can't pay for followers or pay for likes to skew that because it will catch up to you. That's moral law. That's how everything works, you know. You just
Very
have to
good.
be yourself.
Yeah. 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 Be
Like you're doing.
be your authentic self. And I wish that it was my idea. I stole it from Gary Vaynerchuk. I listened to a lot of he wrote a book called Crush It, but he's very big on being authentic. And people are nervous to be authentic, or even post. Like, I'm not gonna post the right thing. Just fucking throw it out there. Nobody gives a shit.
No.
Post it up.
And it becomes like it's like riding a bike or a skateboard. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. It's really weird. And sometimes I'll go a long period of time without doing a story post, like 3 weeks, and then I'll throw it out there. And I always read my stuff back. I find my own shit very entertaining, to be honest with you. So
yeah, me too. Me too.
I watch it back. I want to make sure everything I'm saying is accurate. And and a lot of times when I'm like very self-conscious about something, I'll always get every fucking time 1, 2, or 3 people being like, "Hey man, I really needed to hear that today. Thank you so much."
That's the stuff. And, yeah, exactly. It's like, should I post that? And it's always when I'm really raw. I did a tribute podcast for Cam that was very difficult, but I sort of laid it out what happened, the whole story of that adventure, and it just something I needed to do, and I'm glad that I did. It's there for people to listen to. It's in the archives, and the podcast in general. Like people thought I was like dumb, like a drywall, like my normal friends are like, a drywall podcast. Are you out of your mind? Who's gonna?
Your normal friends?
I was going through a separation with my wife when we did our interview, and I was going through a separation then. I had separated. Wow. It was hard. It was a hard time for me. That particular time in my life was really difficult, and I hit it, and I did the thing, and I was early in the podcast, but I met my girlfriend. We had known each other prior, and always been good friends, and I told her like, she listens to podcasts, and I was like, I do like this drywall podcast, and she's like, fucking snoozer, man. I'll put that on when I'm going to bed. And she listens to every episode. She loves it. It's like you never know until you put it out there. Say yes until you can.
Drywall and the personalities in it work. I'll tell you my kind of parallel to that. I've never played Magic cards. I don't give a fuck about Magic cards. I don't collect Magic cards. But I watch these videos about dudes who do collect Magic cards, and they open the packs and they talk about the market value and like,
is that Pokemon?
No, this is like Magic. It's like that, right? But I have no interest in it. But these personalities and the way that thing works is so interesting to me. And I think it's just a matter of time with drywall. Because if you know enough about the history of the tool manufacturers alone and everything, you could have a Netflix special, remove the word drywall with cocaine, and everybody would fucking love it. Same personality, same everything.
Yeah.
Everyone would love it because it's so dynamic and interesting.
Episode 108, Corey Fisher, Tech Dry.
Just keep going. Don't ever give up, ever.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah. What else are you gonna do?
Very cool. We'll have to talk about TextDry sponsorship with the Drywall Podcast. Always love supporting you guys and catching up with you, man. Where do you see for TextDry headed from here?
Just getting more tools out. That's my whole goal right now.
That's your goal right now. I love it. And by now, I would assumed that you've divorced yourself from the idea of like, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is where sort of it becomes more about what you're passionate about and not as much, and what you're doing, what you're up to versus, I'm going to make a bunch of money and,
100% fully separated from that idea.
Yeah.
But there is money to be made.
Absolutely.
But it does take years to build up that sales portfolio to do that.
Yeah. Fresco Harmony took about 10 years before. I mean, we just a few years ago started to where it was starting to pay for itself, like materials.
Good.
And we're still not there,
It takes a really long time.
It takes a really long time. People don't realize, and a lot of people quit. So kudos for that. Thank you so much for coming on the Drywall Podcast again.
Yeah.
Episode 101, called Jamie Painting and Drywall. Yeah, that's great. And then, of course, your pearl of wisdom.
Yes, we were thinking about this. Mine would be to kill everybody with kindness, no matter who the hell they are, whether it's me talking to you, the mailman wants to have a quick chat. Just be kind to everybody, man. Don't think you're better than somebody. Just be kind to people, and good things will happen, honest to God. And just do it with trueness, don't be phony to people. And, just that and always stick to what you say, like in life in general. When you tell somebody something, or you have you're high on your horse about how you carry yourself, always just stay true to who you are, and kill people with kindness. That'd be my two things. Kindness for sure, man. That'll get you far. That's my pearl.
Love it. Jamie Burke. Episode 123, Kathy Bear, the tiniest taper.
Probably try and look at things from perspective rather than perception. I think we put a lot of stress on ourselves when we don't see things from other people's point of view, or from another view. And I think it helps us take things less personally as well. If you can look at it from someone else's view. Yeah.
The shoe on the other foot, so to speak. Kathy Bear, it's the tiniest taper.
It is.
How did you come up with the tiniest taper?
Well, I'm 5'1", so.
Oh my God, you are short. You're short.
Yeah.
Okay.
5'1.5".
Okay.
So I think it was just more to do with that. Craig likes to do the top bits of the walls, and I can do the bottom. It's really good. Teamwork.
Do you walk a stilt?
No, we don't really have them here very much.
Ooh.
Especially on sites, because of the health and safety. We're not even allowed metal hop-ups sometimes. It's all got to be scaffold or scissor lifts.
Okay.
Things like that. So just on some sites, but the majority of the sites don't allow stilts, but I'd love to try them. I'd love to give them a go. Yeah.
They're fun. Episode 119, Joe Koenig, a pearl of wisdom. So I'm still doing pearls of wisdom from the great Joe Koenig. What would you say if you had a billboard, or you could give a pearl of wisdom to the drywall industry and also the stucco industry, as it were?
Well, for me, the pearl of wisdom, what means the most to me is, work hard, play hard, honesty, integrity, ethics. You promise, your handshake is worth everything. Your word is worth everything. Go out of your way to deliver what you promise, and for sure pay it forward. If any success you have, if you've got an extra slice of bread that you can share with someone that needs a slice of bread, please do that. Those are my words of wisdom, and that's kind of how I live my life. And my beautiful family here, they believe in that, and they do it too. So
yeah, Yeah, I love it. Creates a culture of success all around. Joe Koenig, Trimtex Drywall Products, www.trimtex.com.
Yep.
Trim-tex.
Dash. Yeah.
Check them out on the website. Wherever you get your drywall products out in the field, if they're not carrying Trimtex, you might want to speak to that yard manager and tell them they need to start carrying them. And then also social media. You are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Where else? TikTok, I imagine. Episode 125, Mark Wilson, Ames.
Just step back and enjoy every day. Life is short. We only have so much time. You got to work. We all have to work. Take time to enjoy the little things. You're out there working and it's cold and you got to work extra. You're tired, but there's probably something good about it. You can make something nice during your day. I think that it's probably not easy for some people to do, or everybody. We all have our things we have to deal with, but try not to stress. Enjoy the little things and make your work, most people do, take pride in it, but enjoy it. Take time to enjoy it. And not an easy task. I'm not saying everything's easy, but there's times when I look at my day and I compare it to somebody who's not able to be out there healthy working. That's maybe not well, right. Has a problem that I think for me is on a human level. I think that we got to work and you got to collect the money and the guy's picking you to death or maybe holding some of your money. Those things they suck. They're hard, but you got to overcome that. Usually being judicious about things or be humble, be humble with people and treat people like you want to be treated. And, nobody's better than anybody else. We're all the same. Certainly different roles, but I would just impart that on people to take a step back, look at what you have, be grateful. And, love your family. That's the number one, your family, your health. You got to work, but just think of things like that. I think that would be just my overall, to impart on someone. Enjoy life.
Love it. Episode 102, Brandon Hunter, Serpro. And then your pearl of wisdom to the drywall community, Brandon. You have one shot, buddy. You got one shot. You've been in this industry a long time. What would you tell all these crazy drywallers if you were in an auditorium with 20,000 drywallers?
What I would say is keep an open mind. You never know where the next great solution is going to come from. Don't stay closed-minded into the old school mentalities where Coke and Pepsi started the battle, right? The battle between Coke and Pepsi. That's all that was there.
Right.
But we now know there's coconut water, Red Bull, Rockstar, Monster, a bunch of health conscious drinks out there.
Yeah.
Like the beverage
the kombuchas.
The beverage market today is nuts.
Yeah.
So don't get stuck in the old Coke, Pepsi mentality. And don't close any doors because of that. Keep yourself wide open to learn from whomever. So you're going to find finding your favorite influencers, content creators in drywall, to some of the favorite brands that you come across or favorite products. Just don't leave yourself closed-minded to not search further and be open. Be open to helping everybody grow. This is a small, talk about community. Okay.
Okay.
If you're a content creator, Nick, and and not just a content creator, but product developer, a manufacturer, a drywaller, right? A drywall finisher. You wear many hats, right? And I would say that get with people who are willing to be open, to share in the growth of all. Don't close yourself. Don't limit your opportunities. If you get yourself into exclusive deals, one-sided or the other. Say a manufacturer comes to you and says, well, you can only sell our brand or one other brand, right? Right. I mean, these kind of things have really happened in the past.
Yeah.
You got to choose wisely, and you got to really look at, well, what's best for you, and, do what feels right. But the bottom line is, try to help as many people as you can.
Episode 107, Spencer Dolan.
Just don't overthink it. Just if you feel like you're capable and you're confident enough to go into it, I mean, don't overthink it. I waited almost 2 years before I went out and did my own thing. And now I have painters, tell me all the time how great of a job I do. And people, they look at me different because I'm young, so they, I have guys that are twice my age working for me. So it's like, it's hard to get the respect, but, once you earn it and, they see your quality work, I mean, it really kind of speaks for itself, and so I guess just stick to it, and if you feel like you're ready, then go for it, and just don't have so much doubt in yourself, and that's what I love about Fresco is the fact that I know that, it's meant for me to succeed. It's not, it's not complicated, and, there's some trial and error, but luckily, having somebody that I can talk to like you, for
it's key.
For learning, it's huge.
A lot of these other companies, man, it's like you can't even order the shit online. You have to take a class, or you got to jump through like a bunch of hoops. And then it's like, I need to talk to somebody, I want to order this stuff. How do I use it? Is there anything I need to know? I spend a lot of time fielding calls and helping people out. And it's a pleasure for me to see you have success. It's designed to be easy. I wouldn't, I tell people it's not snake oil. There's a lot of products out there that are just kind of snake oil that you don't really need for drywall. But
that's why I went with Fresco, because I was going to go to the East Coast and take that class for that metallic paint. But the class was like $3,500, and then they sent you home with like $150 worth of product. And it's like, I wanted something that I could use in my
Hey, just you heard it here on the Drywall Podcast. $3,500. I will come to your hometown and we'll play around. We'll do a job. I'll do it with your guys. I'll give you 2 whole days on the job training.
I might take you up on that, dude, because my crew, I mean, they're interested. He wants to learn it. His name's
Lupe. It'd be fun.
Yeah. And they're excited, and they're just happy because where they're from in Colorado, they get $7 a sheet. So
episode 115, James Wyhonig, Morph. Werhonig. It should flow better. But out Brisbane, Australia, a pearl of wisdom that you could bestow on the drywall community, what would it be?
A pearl of wisdom?
Look, you've had a bunch of good pearls, but just something like and I stole this idea from somebody, but if you could put something on a billboard to tell all your fellow tradesmen, tradies in the industry, what would it be?
Okay, I've got 2.
Okay.
Got to work together. Okay, I've got 2. Stability is an illusion. Stability is an illusion. Chase your dreams, because when you're old, you're gonna regret not chasing them. You're gonna think, fuck, I should have actually tried that. I had so much to give, but I didn't. And if you're worried about losing that stability, it's an illusion. Nothing's stable, nothing's definite. Look at what happened with COVID. Everyone, like, so many people lost their jobs. Stability is fake. You'll find stability if you're chasing something and putting all that work in. Stability will come. Now, the other thing is, look, people say love what you do. Like find something you love. I didn't love sanding when I started it. I think you can love everything. If you move out, I left to become a chef for a little bit because I love cooking. I did that, and then I realized that once you get used to anything, that love will depreciate, or you'll just get used to it, and it doesn't matter anymore. At the end of the day, you can learn to love whatever you do. If you're in the trade, you just got to look at the positives. It's all about the mindset. You can learn to love what you do, and when you love what like what you do that you have so much experience in. Like you should really stick with what you know, because you'll get better and you'll get better and you'll get better. And when you're really good at something and you're a master, that's when the money comes. And money creates stability. And with money, you know, not only can you make your dreams come true, you know, you can make all the people that you love around you. You can help those people around you, you know, who might be struggling. But if you don't have that there, you're going to be like, oh, look, I can't do anything. And you're just going to feel, it's going to make you feel sad, you know? So, you know, learn to love what you do. Stability is an illusion. Just go for it.
Love it.
That's yeah.
That's awesome. James, thank you so much for being on the Drywall Podcast today. What a fantastic episode. Episode 104, Allison and Kayla, Gilbert taping. Very cool. And then Allison, a pearl of wisdom. You guys can do a joint pearl of wisdom for the drywall community that maybe you've discussed previously together, or you can do separate pearls of wisdom. Allison first, go ahead.
Well, I'd say maybe don't like compare yourselves to other, because we all sucked at one point, and you're only going to get better if you keep practicing and if you keep being open to learning new stuff. And I mean, like, looking at me and Kayla, like we tried the box and we're like, no, but then we ended up running them, and now that's all we do for our flats.
Right.
And so many people, I'm sure, did the same thing. So just don't give up and keep practicing.
Yeah, I like it. Kayla, I know you've got a pearl swimming around in there.
Well, Allison just said like all of them, like all the existing pearls, but
she said some good ones. You got some good ones.
I would say just like be you, be like creative, and just do your thing and stay authentic. Sorry. But
Authentic.
that's all I got.
And lastly, authentic self. Episode 106, Tomahawk Drywall.
I think the biggest thing would be is research and learn. It's like, and I always tell everybody that works for me, it's like, we can learn. Drywall should always be learning. And so we don't have to be, this is the way we're taught, this is the only way we're going to do it. It's like, just make drywall funner. It's like, by learning about your trade, learning how the system works, talking to your representatives, talking to engineers, just learning about your trade and making your product better actually makes drywall funner. And it's just because it's a constant learning experience. So that's what I have to say. Just don't think you just know everything. Just constantly learn and do better.
Well, you can. I think it makes it more interesting. So drywall, I mean, for me, it was like this, you know, it just got monotonous and kind of boring. You know, I still loved working with the mud, and I was like, God, you know, if I could just do colored mud and make the same money I'm making in Colorado, I'll be happy, you know, whatever. I was in my 20s, naive. But it just opened up an entirely new world. I still have all that drywall knowledge that I had. That doesn't go anywhere, but I'm using it in like this fashion that just continues to expand and explore. I'm using bullnose tools for finishing bullnose, and, you know, smaller knives and plastic knives, and we're using pool trowels and different gauges of steel. You know, I'm constantly testing different gauges of steel, and then all of a sudden you got this John Hine guy. He's doing like plaster finish with fresco hardening. I'm like, how are you doing that? What are you doing? And he's doing like, he's using like 2000 grit sander. I don't know if you knew, he's like buffing it just like normal plaster. And then, I'm like, how do you even know to do that? You know, it just fascinates me. So I love it. Research and learn so cool. And great to connect with you finally, Tom. We've known each other for a long time. I'm forever in your gratitude for introducing me to Bill Berry out of Grand Junction, Colorado. You are a direct result of having 4 locations in Colorado. So I'm super grateful to you for that. Episode 116, Stephen Jenkins, aka Big Dog. Yeah. Big Dog. Really awesome. I would like a pearl of wisdom, although you've given a bunch. You've gone through these experiences over the last year. Could you just let like shorten all that up, all that good stuff, shorten it up into one phrase that you could put on a billboard? Somebody's depressed, they hurt themselves, they're out of work, they're trying to figure it out. What would you tell them?
Man, that's tough, man. And then, like I said, I'm still figuring out myself, but I just, you gotta have faith. You gotta. But I didn't even know what to have faith was. That's why I didn't have any faith. You gotta find your faith in you, whatever it may be. I'm not saying I'm not gonna tell anyone what to do, but you find faith. It doesn't have to be religion, That's what the old guy was saying before, It's like, I believe that something else is leading our way before, and then that you put the stress out of your hands, whether you believe it's the universe or, your buddy that passed away is holding your hand along the way, or whatever it may be, kind of put it out of your own hands, It's kind of takes a lot of the anxiety away. Yeah, have faith.
No, I like that. Have faith
in yourself. Man. Have faith in yourself. Find that however you gotta, because that's what I didn't have.
Episode 111, Steph Abbott, Teak.
Pearl of wisdom. Well, I think I'll bring it back to Instagram and just give people one more tip that I forgot to say earlier, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So when you're going to post your video on Instagram, one thing that is extremely beneficial to help you get more reach is to use trending audio. So to know if it's trending audio, you look at the top of the video, and if there's a little check mark, that means it's trending audio. And also you can click on that and it'll take you through the top like 10 to 20 trending audios that you can pick right off there. But so that's not really my tip, but once you pick your whatever song in the world you want to choose, right? Before you go to press post, after you've added your caption, your hashtags, your tags, and all that jazz, at the very bottom, this is on mine anyways, I'm not sure if it's the same on everyone, it says share on Facebook, and it's not talking about your personal Facebook, it's talking about whether the music you've chose is allowed to be shared on Facebook, or if it's unavailable for Facebook. So some trending audios you choose, or just regular audio, it is not available to be shared onto Facebook. And if you post a video and that option says unavailable, you are robbing yourself from views. Like sometimes you're missing out on millions of views if you're using an audio that isn't, because Instagram and Facebook are connected, right? So they're playing our reels on Facebook.
Yep.
And it's cool because if you look at your video, it'll tell you your reach from Instagram, and then right below that, it'll tell you your reach from Facebook. And a lot of my views come from Facebook. Like
that's, I want to add too, that people that are poo-pooing Facebook, it's just ridiculous. Like there's a lot of people on Facebook that don't have Instagram accounts, a lot. And the drywall groups also. There is so many drywall groups, junkies, drywall is worldwide, drywall nation. All of these groups are really powerful tools. You might not get a bunch of likes, but if you post something on those groups on Facebook, you have a ton of eyes on your content. For sure.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if my content's being played through those pages because I don't have Facebook, but with me hashtagging FYP for you, hashtag FYP, hashtag for you, and hashtag reels, it helps me get my videos onto Facebook's FYP. So I can look and I can see I've got 1.2 million views from Facebook. It might say you have 30,000 views from Instagram, but if I would have chose an audio that was unavailable to be shared on Facebook, I would have lost out on 1.2 million views. That's why it's so important that you make sure that your audio is allowed. It says allow or unavailable. If it says unavailable, don't even post it. Change your audio to something that says allow and then full send.
Episode 124, Tyler White. One thing, of course, that you may or may not know that is the pearl of wisdom. So you've had a bunch of gems. This has been a good show. I didn't ask what tools you guys use, which I generally ask. What do you guys run?
Yeah. So in terms of hanging, it's because we do it all. We do hanging, the hanging, finishing, and sanding. So for hanging, was using Ryobi for a little bit because that's what I had, just affordable. But I'm switching over to DeWalt, but we use all battery powered stuff, and then that's what we do. And then in terms of finishing, it was this podcast that kind of opened up my eyes to potentially trying the Hawk and trowel, which I did buy one. I use it every now and then, but I'm still
those Canadians crush it with the Hawk and trowel. And you watch them on like Instagram or YouTube, man. They're good.
Oh yeah, they just make it look so easy.
Yeah, but Todd uses he's pan and knife,
and in terms of taping, banjo. That's all. He just uses.
You guys
banjo.
Don't use like the automatic tools.
We have no automatic tools. No.
Shut the F up, dude.
And we use
no box tools, no nail spotter, no bazooka.
No,
screw
nothing.
that bazooka.
And we use metal corner beads still.
Oh my God, Joe Koenig, if you're listening, I'm sorry, man. Joe will send you a case. He'll send you a case of vinyl corner bead tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I use that on all the flips that I do because we go over plaster and stuff. But I mean, it's like that. I even was talking to the drywall supplier that's in our area, just asking him about the different types of corner bead, and even he was saying like, for some reason, we're just in this small pocket where metal nail on or staple on corner bead is kind of what people use around here. So no automatic tools. We use banjo, all hand tools, and that's
you can cruise with the banjo. Those Gilberts, they probably won't tell you, but they're still using the slot box. I see them. I see their videos. They're still using the slot box. Columbia will give them a bazooka, and they're still like reeling out that tape.
Absolutely.
Is there an aspiration to use the tools just from your own standpoint, or do you like see yourself maybe trying the tools out in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to, but it's just a matter of getting to a point where I can justify that. I would still say like 60 to 70% of my work is like smaller jobs.
Episode 110, Chris Chaidovich. What advice would you give these up and coming tapers or everyone in the drywall community if you could launch one pearl?
Probably just keep your ears open. You never know. You're going to learn something from somebody you may ever expect to learn something from. Don't always think your way is the way. Just because there are guys I've hired and fired many of guys, but I think I learned something from every one of them along the way. Like I thought I had it figured out, and their method, I criticized it at first, but then I seen how it worked for them and what they may have eliminated to what I was doing.
Yeah.
But maybe it was a different step. It was just a way about getting the same finish in the end.
Right.
Just keep your ears open. Stick to what you know that works though, but always keep your ears open, and make sure the person that's teaching you what they're doing knows what they're talking about. Because I think the teacher has a lot to do with what you become if you have a good teacher telling you how to do it.
Episode 114, Sid Mauricio, drywall finisher for you.
It's quite hard.
to provide by working, use physical work. Is don't take it for granted. It's a bless to know a skill and to earn money from your skill. Is just keep going, keep your faith up, like I do every day. And I try my best every day. Sometimes I am 20% of my battery. That I need to keep going. Sometimes I'm 80, sometimes I'm 100. But sometimes I feel like I don't want to wake up, but I have to. At the end of the day, it is a happy ending. Is just keep your hope up, and whatever you do, and you're gonna see a light. You're gonna see a light that you're gonna see. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. This is a happy ending. This is a happy day. This is by sitting outside of your home after a long day of work and watching the sky. And I was like, this is a blessing. This is what I was. This is good. I wanna. It wasn't a bad day after all. And keep your faith up. Don't worry about the war. We're getting into this darkness sometimes. I don't know, but hard times every day is something new. Social media and the news, bad stuff going on. We're seeing more bad stuff than good stuff nowadays. And just keep going, be happy, smile, smile to people more often, and maybe you want to make their day. Say good morning to people. I always smiling. I didn't do that before. I was serious, like badass face. But I don't want to communicate. But at the end of the day, I know myself, and I'm not like that. So I'm gonna show myself, and people gonna see that this guy is always. What is he doing? Maybe I'm gonna be that.
Why is he so happy all the time? I love it.
I think I'm gonna. Happiness is good. Smiling is good.
But I love that, Mauricio. I love it. Episode 122, Dear Kitsul, Comey.
Well, I guess based on my experiences, what I've encountered a lot is I think you need to understand what your worth is. When you're bidding a job or selling yourself, bottom line is I found a lot of clients that are hiring you specifically as well, and you can get jobs based on who you are and what you bring to the table. It's not always the lowest price, and it's really important to invest in like good products, good tools. All those types of things add up, and how you come to the job site, how are your tools set up, and the experience you leave. So I just found that don't always sweat on doing the cheapest price possible. I see when people are always constantly underbidding. I think overall it's just ruining the industry. It's bringing whether it's the contractors, they all start talking and expecting that, right? When cost of living is going up, well, so should what you be charging.
It's changing. People in the trade, I feel like, are talking a little more, and we're talking about this idea of, rising tide lifts all ships. We all have to be aware of price point when we're bidding a job. That's why I like specifically what Doug McKenzie is doing, because he's illuminating this idea of like, we're not charging enough. You have to cover all of these expenses to make your nut. And we need to keep having that conversation. Drywallers tend to be very hidden about like what we charge. And it's like, no. We need to share that, and we need to like talk about why we're charging this rate and how to charge more and why we're charging more. So I agree.
That's the thing. A lot of other trades talk. Everybody there's certain industries where that's what the price is. And I found even in the, plastering, the price is the price. This is my price. I talk to other guys and they're like, yeah, this is my price. I don't work for less, so
yeah.
I just feel that the coming from drywall, and that was a big thing that really put a bad taste in my mouth about doing drywall, was how everybody was fighting for the lowest price. Well, why you do better just staying home. So why do that to yourself? I think, drywallers should really be focusing on coming together and having similar price points, and then everybody's getting hired based on their merit, what they bring.
Episode 105, Doug McKenzie, Drywall CEO.
Honestly, like the best advice I can give to the drywall community, anybody that's in business, is know markup and margin. I feel like nobody knows that, and everybody needs to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really intrigued about that aspect, and you touched on it a little bit, but I still don't have my brain. My brain's not wrapped around it, and it's like, that might be a good like teaser to give away for you. I don't know, but that's a good.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna share my video training on markup and margin. You put me on the spot, and it is a tricky little thing, so I'm gonna share my video training on that. Maybe we can give that away to everybody.
Well, because it inspired you. Like that tidbit inspired you in the commercial, like whenever it was, to be like, oh, I'm not making any profit. Like I get it now. I have to run these numbers X, Y, and Z so that I can add this 4% or whatever we came up with to create that frickin' how much I want to make. And then you determine how much you want to make. It's not about your worth. It's less about like I'm only worthy of $1 a square foot. It's like, no. There's actually a formula. And if you stick with that formula, you're not gouging. You're just, this is what you should get.
You're covering your costs. You shouldn't be figuring out what your profit is at the end of the year. You should be figuring out what your profit is at the start of the year and figuring out this formula. I know exactly what I'm going to make on a job before it starts. Exactly. Like it's right on this line item, like exactly what we're going to make. As long as we run the job efficiently and we don't go over budget on things, then like this is the amount we have at the end of the job, and it covers all of our costs, pays my wage, makes the business a 10% profit, all of that wrapped up into one. Cool. It's a simple mathematical formula.
Episode 121, Jay Delk Drywall.
You got to love it. You have to love it. If you don't love it, that's with anything that you do. If you wake up, I think we were talking about that with the guys there. If you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, God, I don't want to go to work. You shouldn't be doing it. When I wake up in the morning, especially fresco jobs, I mean, I really can't sleep, the night before because I'm excited to go and to do this job, even after all these years, all the other guys are ready to quit and retire. Like, I don't want to quit. I don't want to retire because I love drywall work. I love doing mud work. And now that, I have fresco in my life, it's just opened up a whole new, spectra of, something new to me. It's a challenge, and it's just not a wall, like there you go. You see 1,000 walls that have been taped, but with this one and every color that I do, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite color. Sure. Every single color I've done, I'm like, this is my favorite color. This is my favorite color. But anybody in the trades, drywall, you got to love it. You have to love it.
Yeah.
And if you don't love it, don't do it. Find something that you love, and listen to the older guys because they know what they're talking about, mixing your pan with the 2-inch putty knife, That's what I learned from the old guy. And
that was an old guy trick, huh?
That was an old guy trick because
cool.
You're not going to get it all over the place, and it works. I just stuck with it. So, yeah.
Episode 112, Jason Marshall jams drywall. Yeah, a pearl of wisdom, if you don't mind, besides the pearls of watching out for shady contractors, what advice would you give our drywall community?
Contracts. Make sure you have a good established detailed contract, what you're going to do, how much it's going to be, and what they can expect. So we're currently working on a procedure, and what that is we'll be able to send the customer a procedure list of how the things are going to go. So if you could take note of all the questions that you get over the years, you'll notice that they're like basically the same questions, right? People ask the same thing over and over, different clients.
Okay.
When are your guys showing up? You know, why is nobody here today? Because it's wet. So we try to answer all of those questions before they get asked.
They're hungover.
Yeah, luckily I don't have to deal with that. But yeah, just try to get a procedure list going. You know, that you can send over with your quote so that they know what they can expect.
Okay.
And that'll make things run a lot smoother, man.
Very cool. Very cool. That is that's a really good procedure. Not only a contract, but also a procedure so that they know what to expect. Commonly asked questions, maybe a section, and you could do that on your website. Also, have a commonly asked question and then answers for those questions.
Yeah,
if you have a website.
A lot of people don't know that the hangers and the finishers are two separate people, right? So we have that listed in there that our hanging team members will come and hang the drywall. They are going to leave the drywall scraps on the floor. Like it's going to be a mess. And then
we'll get them.
Number two,
we're going to get them.
Number two is somebody's going to come and clean up that mess. And then step number three is, you know,
you get that call. Hey, the drywall guys left. This place is a mess, man. When are we getting it? It's like, they're going to be there tomorrow. You know, they're picking up another house today. We got the trailer.
Check the procedure list I sent you. It was already, you know, your question is already answered in the procedure list. Yeah.
I like that. That's smart. Thank you so much for joining me on this, the third installment of the Pearls of Wisdom episode of the Drywall Podcast, episode 126. I hope you enjoyed it. Huge shout out to all the ballers who have come on the show these last 26 shows or so and bestowed upon the drywall community their wisdom. I know that we appreciate it a ton. Also, a huge shout out to our newest sponsor, Columbia Tools, sponsoring the Drywall Podcast in the month of April, 4 full episodes. Are you curious about Columbia Tools? Well, you should go follow them on Instagram, YouTube, all your favorite platforms to see where they're headed next on their super cool road show. Also, curious about seeing the tools in person? You can check them out at booth 400 at the upcoming AWCI show in Charlotte, April 2nd and 3rd. See them on the floor. Thank you so much for listening to the Drywall Podcast today. I really appreciate it. These Pearls of Wisdom episodes are special to me. They take a long time to edit, and I appreciate you guys listening to them. I hope you all have an amazing weekend, and remember, keep drywalling.